RSL Nation.
Welcome
Why
back.
are you stealing my line?
I was trying to vibe with you.
It's great. I love the energy. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the RSL Bros. We're glad you are here and ready to listen because we have an episode that might be unlike any other episode we've had so
Cup
far.
Bop level 9.
That's
Cup
spicy.
Cup
That, that,
Up
that
Level
that's
9.
that's spicy. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how you want to take what we're going to be giving you. Today, there's going to be, we're literally warning you before all this happens. Like, it's going to be 1,000% opinions. And we're not trying to convince you of anything different, but you might understand where we're coming from and why we say the things online that we say. Because, to be honest, there are a lot of comments and opinions being thrown out, especially after this last weekend. And there's a lot of, let's just say, a lot of different viewpoints that we're going to go over all of them because all of them are valid to a certain point. But you know what? I might think that our opinion is probably the best just
We're
because
biased.
we're a little biased. So, this is how it's going to go down, guys. We're going to recap the game on Saturday. We have to because that's who we are. That's what we do. We're going to talk about everything that we think about it. After that, we're just going to get into some reactions to what happened Saturday. All the reactions. We don't have anything recorded as in like interviews and whatnot, but we're going to talk about what we've heard, what we've seen, and then we're going to get into something that I think all of us, including you guys, you listeners, maybe I don't say you guys don't want to talk about it, but because it's so divided and everyone does it their own way, we're going to talk about fandom. We're going to talk about team commitment and what level and what does that mean for everyone. After that, we're going to steer away from that. We're going to go into some tournaments that there's finals and qualifying games that went on. That's a pretty hot topic. And then last but not least, we're going to get into some US national team news.
Oh, not questions.
Oh yeah, forgot. Instagram
And,
questions.
and
At the end. Always.
Oh gosh. Guys, this is packed. So let's just get underway. Marcos, I'm going to give this one to you to start off. Give us your thoughts on the lineup, RSL versus the Galaxy in LA. What do you got?
so you look at this lineup for RSL and you're like, WTF? Like this is funky. This is weird. Obviously no Glad because he was out with concussion. Kaliskin remained. Vera, but then no Alex. They threw in Sam instead, which was okay. But then we switch up to defensive mids. No Pablo. Obviously, and Nelly is out for a couple of weeks. So we just have Ojeda Palacio, and then everything else up top is the same. So that back defense, I was kind of head scratching. I was like, kind of very nervy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie that I do have my own opinions, but Christian, give me your thoughts when you first saw this lineup and just some of your thoughts.
I mean, I I I was surprised as well. Seeing I think the biggest surprise for me was Nelson Palacio and then Sam Junka. Um, just because I would have hoped for us to come out more aggressive in attack against an LA team that's a glass cannon. And so that was surprising.
Guys, I mean we beat it to we beat it to a pulp last episode. This is an LA team that was literally in last place. Their front four has scored a total of one goal. Was that am I right in not saying that? Something like
Correct.
that. It was like
Correct. Yeah.
absolutely horrendous. And when not gonna lie, I had zero issues with this lineup. I still have zero issues with it. Well, actually, no. I have one issue. The one issue is PQ. I would not have put PQ there. In fact, I think with all the rotatingness that kind of goes on in Pablo's head, I actually probably would have put Junka instead of Quinton in that spot and left Alex on the wing. I'm not sure if this was because again minute loads that we talked about last episode,
Mhm.
but I think the better option would have been Junka instead of Quinton. Quinton got beat. In fact, that first goal, I think, was Quinton's fault.
100%. 100%. I don't know if it was the lack of experience with Caliskin not being used to playing on that outside back, so that communication with him and PQ. But yeah, it was a lot of PQ getting beat by Sanabria.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. But let's maybe talk about the first half first. First half wasn't the best. We came out
No.
like we
It
came
was it
out,
was
but we
it was,
came
it
out
was very
hot the first couple minutes.
oh yeah, we came out very hot to start off, but then after that it was just straight LA Galaxy from possession to passes to straight shots. I was scared, not gonna lie, it was gonna be about 3-4 nothing by halftime with the communication, the with who was it? It was Fagundes to Gabriel Peck to Paint. So they were just all feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at the momentum, we bookended really both halves with momentum. And the stats, I think for me, the stats are what's frustrating because the Galaxy were more efficient with their shooting than we were. Like for a team that shot 9 compared to 19 for RSL, we should have been up 3-2.
Yeah.
Like one massive improvement that I do like is that we had 19 shots.
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
huge.
beginning of the season, we wouldn't have had that. And so, credit to Pablo for getting them to the point where they're shooting that much. But obviously, finishing's quite another story, obviously. Even the accuracy on target being 4 out of 19, that's less than 20% on frame.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe to maybe do the opposite point of yours. We did. Do you remember we had like 30 shots against Herediano, right?
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
So
Correct.
it's like shots, I don't think are the issue. It's what to Pablo's point, it's always the finishing. The finishing, he says we create the chances. The
Hmm.
opportunities are there. Just no one can get it in the net. To your point, we had 8 shots in the first half, 11 in the second half. I mean, there it was
They were
slightly
trying.
it was slightly a tale of two halves. Um, the only difference was, I think the Galaxy were on the front foot, exactly how I said that last episode they were gonna their little supporters group meeting with the team thing. That was a confidence booster. Like, hey, we need to do this. And so I think the first half they just came guns a
Hmm.
blazing.
Well, I want to talk about in that first half. We see Xavier Gozo with that one-on-one with the keeper. That beautiful pass to
Oof.
start off the game, and I'm like, just like the Vancouver game, quick start. We're gonna get right on the board, but unfortunate, and there's
Well,
not much you
then,
can do.
and also the Luna header that just went wide.
Very similar to
I
the
mean,
Austin game.
that world class attempt.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that's one of those just like it was a margin of inches, 2 degrees of an angle, and
yeah.
it would have made all the difference. And that killed him
Yeah.
inside.
And the second half was basically all RSL. I mean, you're looking at almost 70% possession. We almost, I mean, 2.5 them in passes. We literally just dominated the second half. Just the ball wouldn't fall into the net. So I guess enough of stats. I think there's a couple of thoughts that are coming out of this, that fans are having. Is
Hmm.
this a Pablo out moment? Does this game mean, look, he's not good at his strategy. He's not putting the best team forward. He's not putting the best strategy forward in order to give us the best shot.
I would say in some aspects, yes.
In what aspects, though? Tell me.
I would say the way that he's playing some players because yes, some might say it's load management, it's resting some players, but my thing is like we don't play for another 2 weeks, not for June 14th against DC. What do you have to lose? Like play Alex, play Pablo in this game. Like you're playing against one of the worst teams on the road, so go all out. So that was very frustrating for me.
I don't know, but at the same time, how much can you? Like, I mean, you gotta bring the stats back into this. You take a look at the production that did occur under the strategy, and it was phenomenal production. But like we've said, it just didn't result in anything. So I think Pablo did what he needed to do.
I mean, I already mentioned one of our changes that I would have made pre-game. I probably would have put left PQ off the starting lineup and put someone else in. But I mean, looking at who we had, there really isn't many changes you could actually make to improve. Like you're looking at the bench, and you if
Mm.
can you tell me one player that would improve 100% the squad by playing 70 plus minutes besides
M-
Catranis?
Maybe Pablo.
But Alan said for sure.
For sure. Like you're 100% for sure. Like that is I'm trying to find what I'm trying to pull out of you guys and maybe out of the fans as well is where is the obvious mistake?
There's nothing obvious for me.
No.
It's all relative. It's all opinion based. So basically, I say that Catrani should have started and PQ should have been out. That's it's an opinion because I'm still with the fact that Junca and Catranes can do the same job a little
Correct.
differently, but they can do the same job. Pablo Ruiz, he, he can be put into there. I don't know if he's going to improve or not. Johnny Russell isn't up to 70, 80 minutes. Bodie, yeah, no. And then the other ones that didn't even get subbed in, that's a heck to the no. Not even Tyler Wolf who got 2 goals, 2 assists last Monarchs game. Heck no. So
Heck no to the 100% make a difference.
right. Right. I mean
Just to be clear, so people are like, he hates Tyler Wolf. No, but we're looking at, making like a noticeable difference in the starting lineup.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to get at is that people are saying Pablo out, but if you can't give me a 100% game changer that would replace anyone in that starting lineup,
That we have. You can't say if we had Chicho, if Giogo wasn't hurt,
yeah,
if Anelli wasn't hurt.
if
Correct.
if
Can't-
doesn't
You
exist.
can't throw what ifs.
Yeah. What ifs does not exist right now in this realm. It is who do we have and can they do anything better than who we put out?
You can't say if we sign Neymar instead of Neymar going to Pachuca. Can't.
Or half of all the who else is going to Pachuca on that list?
Oh my gosh. Y'all,
If you're Well, if you're in the Club World Cup, then you're probably going to get sent to one of those teams. So stay tuned. River is going to probably get Neymar.
No, in fact, the rumor has it. Side tangent. Rivers said that they're staying with their same squad. They're not
Okay.
adding anyone.
As they should. As they
kudos.
But
As they should.
but Madrid was trying to get Mastantuono off of River. That'd be bad. Anyways,
No.
so Pablo
No,
out.
but this is definitely not a Pablo out situation. No, because like you guys have regurgitated, like what changes would you make to improve the club? No, like as much as I would love to have Willie exit this game, who are you gonna put in? Aiden? Like yes, Aiden has 5 goals. He's tearing it up right now for the Monarchs, but could he improve the squad right off the bench?
Well,
Mm,
off
Hey,
the bench,
congrats
no.
on his debut.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats on his debut, by the way. That was so cool.
I mean,
17 years old.
we have been asking for that for like the past month, like put in Aiden. Like I think there is something to be said on putting the younger players in, giving them that
Correct.
motivation. I mean,
Correct.
look at Gozo. Ever since he started playing, getting regular
He's
time.
got that he's got that confidence now.
Well, and Gozos boosted Marchuk's confidence. Those two play together so well.
Exactly.
And Luna.
Exactly.
Like those three, I'm a fan of that front three. That picture that some fans are saying was an abomination. That was our thumbnail, which I thought was hilarious.
You're welcome.
I think that clearly describes our attacking midfield.
No,
Cool.
I think it's when a bunch of players on our squad, when we have Gozo, when we have Luna, all playing well, then that builds the confidence of that whole starting 11. But when we're not finishing our chances, when we're having all these shots just going way off frame, then everybody's just very discouraged.
Yeah, and yes, if you're gonna play the what if game, like what if we had a 9? What if we had a 9? I mean, maybe the ball will go into the net. I don't know. I mean, you could play what if all day, but the fact is
Right?
the argument of Pablo out I don't think is valid right now.
I
If
I
I mean, if you think Pablo out is a valid argument, here's my counter argument.
mhm.
You don't know soccer strategy.
And
His
also, who would you bring him to replace him that's available right now?
That's another
Exactly.
one.
Because my thing is, like I've said last episode
Luis
and the episode,
Enrique.
I'll say this every episode until people are done saying Pablo out. If we're to fire Pablo tomorrow, the team's going to be in the same exact place. We're not going to improve right away.
Yeah.
We have
I
the
would
same.
dare say
We have
we
this.
might, we would probably suffer.
Oh yeah, we have the same players, guys. We have the same 11 players on the pitch.
Now I guess now you start getting into the argument of who would you get rid of? Like what players do we need to get rid of from this starting lineup? Or and the answers are going to be what? We need a nine. So that means we need to get rid of our strikers.
We need a right back.
right back. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with Caliskin. I
No,
do I do think though.
he's improving.
I do think here's a my very quick side tangent. I do think we need to renew our center backs. I
Ooh.
do want a renovation of center backs in the sense of I
I would
think
no,
I
I
need
would definitely keep Brian. Brian is
yeah, Brian's one I would keep. I think
but
everyone else is replaceable.
oh yeah, but Sam is
In a
one.
sense.
Sam and Brian are the two I would build our back line around, along with
But
Alex.
but you can't because Sam and Brian
Alex.
play the same side. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Everyone else is replaceable.
yeah.
Just throwing that out there. So let's the reactions to this loss were many. I don't know if you guys took the time to
Um,
listen to
well,
Pablo's what?
well, the comments on Twitter, the comments on Instagram are always horrendous for with RSL fans after the games. It's just like,
Right. But let's go to the source.
yeah, yeah,
Pablo's the guy that is in the hot spot right
Mhm.
now, and he knows what his team is doing and what's going on. Do you
What?
Yeah, really? People are gonna be like, yeah,
The coach
right.
pays attention?
um, so Pablo, in his post game interview, super summarized, is saying that he's also frustrated with the outcomes that are happening right now. He's basically in the summary is saying, I'm putting out the best that I have, and it's still not good enough. If you guys are frustrated, imagine me. I'm trying to put out a product and it's not working. I mean,
absolutely.
so then with those kind of words, where do you think the fingers is starting to point for the blame?
It's all towards Kurt and Jason. All towards Kurt and Jason.
No, Dios no, Dios no.
Try the sweets. Try the sweets.
um, but yeah, it starts turning into the people who recruit players.
Yeah,
And I know Pablo wasn't shooting his shot. He wasn't. It wasn't a shots fired moment. It was just a reality of he's frustrated because who he's putting out is obviously not giving the results that everyone is wanting or expecting. He understands fans are super frustrated, and rightfully so. I mean, we
I guess what fans need to realize is these players, the coaches, they're all on social media. Obviously, they read you guys' comments, and
They see it all.
yeah, and that affects their mentality on the field, and it's big time.
I mean, look at Giogo.
Oh yeah,
He has probably read and heard all of the negative comments that have come from everybody, even probably some of the
probably.
ones here, which
Yep.
we we've toned it back because obviously we came to that same realization. We need to try to support them the best as we can while giving val not over the top criticism when it's due.
I mean, criticism is valid, especially. I mean, if your front GM guy, we'll call him GM, says on a local radio station that you're not playing well,
Right.
it's probably because you're not doing well. But to your point, yes, over the top, like beating a dead horse, it's not cool. Um, but this does turn into a when is management going to flip the page? Like when can fans like start looking forward to something? Um, and so I guess this is where it turns. This is where the segment turns We'll call it a little debatable. This is very opinion based. Okay,
Ooh, here we
we're gonna
The
go.
t we're
spicy portion.
we're gonna talk about what it means to be a fan of RSL right now, in this moment, with the current temperature of the team right now. And so I put together some thoughts. All right, I'm gonna give my first thoughts, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So
Buckle up, y'all.
this first segment is about what it means for us here, and mostly probably for me. So it says, what does it mean to be an RSL bro? It means to be part of the RSL family. It means we celebrate together triumphs. It means we support the family in defeats. It means we push the team to be the best they can be. And even when it isn't enough, we embrace them because they have given all of themselves for us. As a family, we may have disagreements and arguments, but we never abandon. If you believe, then you better stand on your feet because sitting on our laurels is not an option. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. But in this family, we support the tough and the weak. En las buenas y en las malas is not just a catchphrase, but a way of life. In the good times and in the bad times, we're here for RSL. RSL is Ohana, and that means we don't leave them behind.
Well, hot damn. That was well said. Well said, my friend. Yeah.
I mean, how can you go into the stadium and chant and sing "We Believe" and then go online and rant about how you're going to sell your season tickets?
It's uncalled for. Uncalled for. You can't be turning to your family like that whatsoever. If you wear that crest on your jersey every game, home or away, then you support this club.
So I guess I'm gonna maybe do a quick little blurb here of we validate any of you guys' excuses to not want to support the team in a certain way because you want to protest because you want to send a message. Um, we believe, us three, that supporting the team means we are there for the team even through the struggles and the disagreements that we have with the way things are ran. That's because of the way we were raised in soccer. We have Argentine blood, which means that through the thick and thin, in sickness and in health, um, we are here for our team. I'll give a quick example. River Plate, our Argentine team, was relegated to the second division back in 2011. Um, I don't know if you two guys know much about how the relegation went, but it was a horrible season, obviously, horrible couple of seasons, and the fans ended up burning part of the stadium because of they were so upset. But the following season, the attendance did not drop. The following season,
That's loyalty.
the
That's
fans kept
loyalty.
going because it was the name. It was they were part of River Plate, and they ended up ascending back up to the first division that next season.
That's awesome.
Um,
That's awesome.
so that's our background of why we feel the way we feel. Now going back to the belief chant,
Mhm.
what does it mean for you guys to be here for RSL?
Always present, always there, always supporting. Good, bad, rain, snow,
Yeah.
sunshine, good times, bad times. Because here's the thing. What the team's gonna the team's here to stay. What's gonna change? The players, the coach, the wonderful staff that hosts us at games, the people in the supporters clubs.
Mhm.
Those are all going to change with time. The I mean, take a look at how much the team has changed in the past 3 years compared to now.
Yeah.
It has been tremendous.
Yeah, and
I
that's
think I
exactly
think
that's
I
exactly what
think
I put.
I think you were telling me this, Alan, earlier today that you don't support the players on the pitch, the 11 players. You support the crest on your chest, RSL, and that's who you are. And I actually respect that because
Hmm.
whether this team is terrible, we lose out, we have less than 30 points. I don't care. I support this crest on my chest 100%.
Yeah, and so I mean I was full of questions ever since that the end of the game on Saturday. Like another one, I said, are we fans of the team or the results the team brings in?
I'd rather be a fan of the team. I would rather be a mad fan than a prideful bandwagoner.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's a quote right there. That's true.
because too, because too often do we see when RSL is bad, obviously the stadium fills up, but then all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, RSL, they're what, fourth, fifth in the Western Conference? Oh, I'll go check them out." And then that's when the stadium starts getting full again.
And yes, we understand that that's how you build a fan base, but there's got to be a certain point where you just have to fan because they're your team because they're local. In fact, here's another little segment of this part. What's the Spanish word for a fan? Do you guys
Incha
hincha? Okay, hincha. What does hincha mean in English?
fan.
No, but
I don't know the direct translation.
so the verb hinchar means to swell, to inflate.
Hmm.
Okay, and this word, look at this. It actually derives off of a story. The original term is from Uruguay at the beginning of the 20th century, and it is a direct consequence of a equipment manager named Prudencio Miguel Reyes, who was hired by Club Nacional um,
Big
to
club.
to inflate the game balls. And soon this equipment manager, because back in the day, back in the early 20th century, when you go to a sporting event, it was very gentleman. It was like you just kind of just it was golf clap. It was a
Yeah.
golfing event. But when the story goes is that this person, this equipment manager, began cheering and being loud, and just shouting, trying to cheer on his team. And so people started calling him a fan. And because he was the inflator of the game balls, that's when they started calling people who actually shout and cheer for their team. They call them hinchas because they would hinchar, they would
Inflate the
swell,
crowd.
inflate or swell the team to do better.
I like it. I like it.
So so that
We need a
means
shirt that says Incha across the front.
hincha. Because so when we are fans, when we are hinchas,
We're
like
inflating.
we have a responsibility to inflate and to bring up the team. So if you're at a game, and this is gonna rub wrong all the wrong ways for RSL fans. If you're there to go eat your nachos, your churros, your pizzas, your popcorn, your French fries, hamburgers, bro, I don't know when you're gonna have time to cheer.
You're
And
not.
I see a lot of, I'm not going to say which direction of the stadium, but there's a certain side of certain stadiums that there are more people eating than cheering. So um, that's why when we talk about being an hincha, being a fan, this is like you're cheering for your team. Um,
Obviously we can't tell fans how to fan. Like if they want to sit down and watch a soccer match, then do that. But I guess what we're getting at is we need all the passion. We need to show the support for this club through and through, not just this half a just when this team's doing okay, we're gonna show up, but through thick and thin.
Now, one last question. I'll do one last little blurb at the end of this. Christian, why are you a fan of the Aggies, the Utah State Aggies? I from a person who's not a fan, y'all don't win very much or anything. So why
when
be
it,
a fan?
oh, it's my school, man. It's my alma mater. It's where I spent time. I developed lifelong friendships. Three of my very, very best friends in the world come from my time up there and from the experiences that we had. It we identified with the team. Like, yes, we did have some good football seasons up there and basketball seasons. And I mean, right now, basketball and women's soccer are absolutely tearing it up, and I hope they continue to do so. Um, but it's my school. Like, that's the long and short of it. And people who don't know me, if you obviously I'm the newest RSL bro. I mean, by age, Marcos is the newest, um, but for those who are still getting to know me, and obviously I have a lot of times different opinions from Marcos and Alan. One part of my personality is that I am deathly loyal. When you are my, uh, obviously family, or God first, family second. My other loyalties come next, including when I have a sports team or organization I support. Once I support you, it's like getting rid of a bad cough. I'm not going away.
Yep.
Good or bad.
I know that because you are very loyal. um, but I do want to maybe wrap this up with a um I want to again emphasize we do recognize all the reasons why you guys would be frustrated. I mean, the fans have been beat up this season so far, starting with parking prices that just shot up like crazy, then concessions that just went off the hook. We're talking about a team that's been promised so many players and they're not coming in. You guys are just frustrated with how results are coming. Broken promises. So we understand where you're coming from. And as the RSL bros, we're only asking you to look beyond that and be a fan of the team, which I know most of you are. Just don't I want to say don't take it out on the players that are trying to lift this club up because really right now it's
Right?
only the players in Pablo that are trying
Yeah,
to lift this club.
those players who are on the pitch every single game, they're putting 110%, even more. Some of you guys might not see it, but they're putting so much effort, and it's unfortunate the results are not going their way. But
I
just
mean,
stick with this club. They're not going anywhere at all.
yeah, there's positives to come off of this, especially
Definitely.
the younger guys. The even the small successes, like heck, the second half of the Galaxy game where we were just firing off 70% possession with 11 shots. That's a success in and of
I
itself.
Yeah, last thing to wrap this up. When we go back to the Vancouver game, when we lost that game, Pablo, he mentioned right away, so many takeaways from that loss, and I have to put myself in that mindset. Even in
Mhm.
those losses and in those draws, there's positives. This is gonna be a tough season, but through the good and the bad, we are RSL.
We're here for RSL. Yeah, yeah, that's right. All right, so enough telling you guys how to fan, because I think we did a pretty good job at that. So let's change subjects here because this one I want to debate this one. Maybe it's not even a debate. Let's just conversate. Um, Club World Cup and CONCACAF Champions Cup. Let's go with the Club World Cup first. We had LAFC versus America because
Yep.
FIFA decided to leave out a certain Mexican club because they're under the same owner, and apparently that's not allowed. So this was to get into the Club World Cup. I already forgot what group they're going to be in. Who
With
they're winning.
Group H?
Chelsea's group.
Oh yeah, Chelsea's group. They're
No, no,
playing it.
it's
Yeah,
group
Chelsea. Whatever group
D.
Chelsea is. Okay, D. So this is a LAFC and America. Winner gets to play in the Club World Cup.
And can we start the fans? Oh man, that was an electric atmosphere. Of course, America fans they show up. That stadium was all yellow, which gets me obviously worried when we play them in a couple of months. But
But
both sides,
that's Los Angeles. Los
yeah,
Angeles is like half America fans.
yeah, we had LAFC fans on one side. There were fireworks, as always. There's smoke.
Bro, that's what I was so like. I saw it. I was like, oh, this is not MLS. This is great.
Well, they're still gonna get a fine, of course.
Doesn't matter. I mean, you guys saw the River Plate one where they just bombarded the whole stadium for the Copa Libertadores game last season.
Launching their
They uh
fireworks, there's
they
smoke.
they got a 2 game ban. They had to play 2 games without fans.
Uh, uh,
Um, but I guess the question is, and I'll tie it in real quick with the CONCACAF Champions Cup game happened at the same time, Vancouver versus Cruz Azul, and the results were this: LAFC wins 1-0 against America. Vancouver, or I was better
I thought it
to
was
say
2-1.
2-1. I know it was a 1 goal difference,
It was 2-1.
something like that.
Dramatic.
Something like that. And then Cruz Azul decides to clean house with Vancouver with a 5-0 win.
Vancouver decided to not show up for some reason, which was
Well,
so
well,
disappointing.
Vancouver wanted to be like Inter Milan.
Yeah, seriously. Well, and so I guess the conversation is this. Yes, they're two different tournaments, but they both have international significance. And again, it's MLS versus Liga MX. I don't know how far we can get into this debate. I don't think we can get very far, but do these games have were they statements? Either one.
I'll start with the LA, not the. I'll start with the Vancouver Cruz Azul one. Um, One, they're without Berhalter. He was out with suspension. They're without Ryan Gauld, another big one. And also, I think they arrived there the day before. And if you know Mexico City, high elevation. So
7,600 feet, I think.
yeah, so going from sea level in Vancouver to that's a hard one to train for.
I felt like there was some pretty heavy bias in that final too.
So I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Was there help for Liga MX, and why wasn't that help given to them in the Club World Cup qualification game? So has is one above the other in terms of league?
I'm still going to say MLS is still a slight edge. You see the
Hmm.
improvements every single year with the players that they're getting, the salary, but Liga
One
MX,
game doesn't determine.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, but that's why I said 2 games. I mean, we have 2 different games, 2 different competitions that mean heavy. I mean, the winner of the CONCACAF Champions Cup qualifies for a future Club World Cup, and the Club World Cup qualification one was, well, just that. And so someone had mentioned online that there obviously Liga MX has the advantage because of salary cap, which there it doesn't
that's true.
exist in Mexico. I did a little bit of comparing, like just looking real quick on FOTMob, the values of the players between the Vancouver and the Cruz Azul
Hmm.
teams, and there is a difference. The rough average, the value of the players on the Cruz Azul side were about $4 million. Take leaving aside Bogush. Bogush was I think 13 million. Vancouver side, the average was about 1 to 1.5 million valuation because I think there was one in there that was like 300,000. So there is a difference in that game. But I didn't look at the LAFC one, but LAFC is probably worth less than America as well.
Hmm.
And yet they're getting some talent there. So I think the debate is still going to go on. There's no resolution from this last weekend.
No, quality of players, I think it's the slight edge for MLS still, just because you're seeing that year in year out. But value, money wise, it's obviously going to go to Liga MX.
I might disagree with you. I actually might think there might be better quality in Mexico.
You think so?
Mm,
Better
I,
cohesion, maybe.
better
We're
cohesion, not better quality
I feel
because
like we're
Me-
seeing more
Liga
players from.
MX Liga MX is starting to become the league where players go to die.
It's true. It's true. Because we're
And
seeing more players from MLS transfer over to Europe.
hmm Liga MX's career stall out hard.
Interesting. Though I'm kind of glad that Vancouver did not win
Why is that?
only because and it's not anti-MLS. It's not. It is anti don't want the league to be embarrassed at the next Club World Cup with them playing.
No, no, no. I,
Because Vancouver doesn't have a lot of money to invest in huge players. So
That's
that,
true.
therefore,
that,
so
well, that's why. Like, support the small markets. It's the same thing
no,
as us.
it's not support the small markets. The market is still going to be small. They're just not going to be able to get the good enough players to play against the teams like Chelsea,
Because
Bayern, and all
it'll
that.
be a completely different club by that point.
It's true.
Exactly,
It's
exactly. I mean,
true.
you're looking at Seattle. Seattle is in this Club World Cup because they won the 2021 CONCACAF or 22, something like that. It's like
20,
years
22.
ago. 22. That team is completely different.
Yeah, they only have
They're,
a few.
Mhm.
They only have a few pieces from that squad that are still with them.
I mean, yes, they added Areola. Not
Yeah,
Areola. Well, Areola's injured
Yeah.
right now, isn't
and
he?
and Jesus.
Jesus, that's the one. Jesus is injured. Areola is injured.
Oh, I forgot about those two on that team. That's
Exactly. Well,
forgettable.
exactly. They're forgettable. They added them to try to bolster up their roster for this tournament. They're gonna get wiped, in my opinion. More to come next week, though.
No, but with
Um,
no, but I see where you're coming from with Vancouver being out. So now their whole focus is just gonna be on the league. How well can they climb up that table and get that supporter shield now?
aren't
Yeah.
they already at the top?
Yeah, right
Right
now
now.
they have 2 games in hand.
And on top of that, 2 games in
Uh,
hand.
yeah, 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. All right, I wanted to just get that off our chest. So I do want to switch gears. This one might be a little bit more intense again, and we might have our Argentine bias might show up again. So I
Muchachos.
muchos. um, all right, U.S. national team. I know all of us are
It's that
fans, more
it's that
fan.
time. It's that time of season.
Some of us are more fan of the team than others. Christian. Um, um,
It's my home.
it's my home too, but I mean, that's a
Home home takes priority over the motherland for now.
well, I'm married to the motherland, so that probably doesn't help. Um, U.S. national team. We're gonna talk about Luna's call up. Doesn't surprise anyone, right?
No, no.
Um, I think the biggest question is if he's gonna how many minutes he's gonna get, and what kind of impact he's gonna have. But before we get into that, there's probably some details that we need to talk about before that conversation because I think the details give us a little bit more insight into the Luna conversation. As we talked about a little bit last week, there's a couple of U.S. national stars that are not going to Gold Cup. Pulisic, McKinney, um, who else?
Giorena.
Giorena, Robinson. I think those are the major ones, and they're pretty major too. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Citing
Hmm.
X reason they didn't want to go. Okay, Pochettino comes out on on the podcast. So what do they call it? Unleashed, unhinged. What is Landon Donovan
Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Unleashed? So he comes out and just lays in onto what happened there. So, Christian, I need you to give me your thoughts on what Pochettino said regarding players that don't come to camp.
I think he was very valid in his thoughts. I mean, for him, Pochettino, he described how the best players of all time, they yearned to play for their national teams. They they fought for it. They cried for the opportunity. They didn't care about how much money they'd make playing for the national teams. They cared more about the crest on their chest and the glory they could bring to that than the clubs that they were playing for. That's part of the reason, like, you take a look at Diego Maradona, his no, historic player. I mean, besides Napoli, you don't really know or care about what other clubs he played for.
Nope.
Like, you just you don't. It's all about USA. Yeah, And speaking about USA, look at one of the most controversial players, Alexi Lawless. He was all in for the U.S. men's national team. Who did he play for? I don't know, some team in Italy. I'm sure they enjoyed having him there, but his focus was the national team. That's where his heart was when it came to soccer at the level that he was playing. And so Pochettino is calling out these players like, "Hey, you want to play for this national team? I want you to beg for it. I want you to yearn for it. I want you to bleed red, white, and blue."
Yeah. This is the kind of manager that this country has been needing for a while because we never saw that from Berhalter. We never saw this from Jurgen. Not at all. So the fact that he came out and said this was well needed.
And I think what maybe to add a little bit more into the Argentine flair of the way he said it, because when you hear it in English, I don't know if it hits as hard, but most of us that know Spanish, we translate it into Argentine Spanish, and he's ripping them a new one because if anyone knows what happened during COVID, for example, for Copa America 2021. Or I think one of the qualifier games for World Cup, Dibu Martinez and Cuti Romero, they were told they were not allowed to go to the Argentine camp because of
Mhm.
COVID procedures, and they left anyways. They basically said, "F you guys, we're gonna go to our national team. If you want to suspend us, we'll suspend us. Well, we don't care. We're gonna go play for the national team." And that's the way with literally 100% of the Argentine players right now, and that's why you see them winning World Copa America first, World Cup, and then back doing it again at Copa America because they love playing for their
Well,
country more
yeah, it's
than
like
anything else.
that passion that they show. We don't see that really from the US, really from anybody. Well, I guess we see that from Canada. The Canadian team shows it with their
They're
passion.
not they're not American.
I'm showing
They're
like
Canadian.
the other CONCACAF teams.
Sure.
But I mean, notice like you want to compare Argentina and the United States. Argentina, how many of their players are singing their national anthem
All
when it plays? All of them.
all of them.
United States, maybe
One,
one or two.
yeah.
Hands over the heart. Actually, hell, I'm gonna go even closer to home. Night. United States women's team played Jamaica. Wonderful victory. Shout out to our Utah player, Ali Sentnor, with the brace. Beautiful brace. Ali, we're fans here. Every single one of those women in the starting lineup, hands over their heart, singing the national anthem.
Love it.
On the sideline, bench
Love it.
players, hands over their heart, singing the national anthem. Those women and their passion for playing for their country puts our men to shame every day of the week. And there's this might piss off some U.S. men's national teams fans.
Do it.
There's a reason they're better than the men.
Facts. Facts.
I mean, they really want to play for their country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
going back to exactly what the beginning of this conversation was, we don't know the X reason why these players didn't want to come. Some say that it was cited for injury, and yet they played their last game or two of their club season. Some say because it's due to exhaustion. They whatever, dude. This
My
is your
thing is,
national team.
well,
This
yeah,
is,
my thing is if you're really that exhausted or whatever, then still play for them for the Gold Cup, but maybe sit out the first game and then come in the second game. But still,
I don't care about logistic. I don't care where
uh,
you play. You come to camp. You
how
come.
much do you want to be there and support this country?
And how much rest do you actually need?
Right? Right? You played the last 1-2 games of your regular season.
Um, yeah. And this is that's what's frustrating about being a U.S. national team fan, and that's probably why Christian. Not gonna lie, that's probably why I don't feel this team as much as I do the Argentine team because I don't feel identified. And lucky for me, and lucky for all of us, we're dual nationals. But not those who are not. They
I
have
feel
to
bad.
put.
I'm sorry for you.
They have to put up with Christian Pulisic, Captain America, when bro, he's anything but. the lack of passion, and people were gonna say, well, you can't judge his passion just because he's a quiet, timid person. No, I mean, come on, you don't say no to a national team call up.
My thing
That
is you can't be one sided. You got to be both sides. You have to be club and country. You can't just be
no,
club only.
for me, it's if we're gonna go in Christian's order, it's God, country, then club. I mean, it's that simple. And so when Pochettino says all this stuff and basically calls those players out, not by name, thank heavens, um, he questions their loyalty, which then here's me connecting dots in my brain. Does the way that Pulisic and McKinney and Robinson, the way they treat the national team, is that how some fans treat their own teams, whether it's national team or club? Are they just kind of like, meh, like it's Gold Cup. We're gonna play against Grenada. We're gonna play against Saudi Arabia. We're gonna play against Montenegro or whatever.
Kind of feels like it kind of feels like it though. Like
I almost feel like how people treat the national team is directly related to how they treat their club team here in the MLS, at least. If they
Yeah.
treat it nonchalantly, they're going to treat the national team nonchalantly.
My thing is if these players are kind of treating it that way, like this is gonna be an easy tournament where this is just CONCACAF, then show it so you can get prepared for next year for the World Cup.
And that's a huge argument too, because this is the last major tournament, last major games
Oh yes,
before.
obviously they have the friendly against Argentina at the end of this year, but
that.
this is
Uh,
we know how that's gonna go, but still, this is your last big tournament before next year.
And the last thing that we need, honestly, is for the players and the fans to get complacent because we automatically qualify for the next World Cup by co-hosting with Mexico and Canada.
Hmm.
Last thing we need is like, we're gonna be there anyway, so why do I need to show up? Why
Exactly.
do I, why do I need to put in minutes as a fan or as a player? That is the last thing we need. It's like, okay, it should be more of, okay, we don't need to worry about qualifying. If I'm a player, I'm like, I don't need to worry about the nation qualifying. I need to fight for my spot. I need to prove that I want to be there and play for the World Cup. Hence, look at Diego Luna.
Switch. That was smooth. Going right into this, Diego Luna with the national team has been playing a 10,
Mhm.
or he kind of just drifts.
Correct.
That's Christian Pulisic's spot, by the
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
Do we see if I'm going way far ahead, maybe way too far ahead. If Diego Luna performs well at this tournament, can we see Pulisic's uh, national team spot on the line, or maybe benched?
Mm.
I could see more bench. Obviously
Yeah.
it depends on how well he does, goals, assists, all that. I for one, I'm not sure if we're gonna even see him start. I could maybe just see
Are you
Luna.
talking about Luna?
Yes, Diego.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because you started going off, and I was like, wait,
No, 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 no,
that's
no,
either
no.
Pulisic or Luna.
No,
No, I only see Luna coming off the bench for this tournament.
Really?
for the Gold Cup? No,
Correct.
he's starting in the Gold
He's
Cup.
he's starting.
Without Christian Pulisic there, he's starting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why in that same interview with Landon and Tim, Pochettino talked about Luna, had a segment just about Luna, and he couldn't say enough good things about Luna. Which that's why my question is: do we see maybe the emergence of Luna and the fall of Pulisic at the same time?
It- the thing that would stop that from truly happening is the fact that Luna plays for Real Salt Lake and Pulisic plays for AC Milan.
But
Pulisic is a is a better player. Plays out in a
A lot more experience.
I was gonna say a better league, but that I would say is questionable.
after
Uh,
after after this last weekend,
just the city in general, and I would even argue to say La Liga as a whole. But
eek. But I
eek.
mean, to
I would still rank. I hate to say it, but would still put Christian Pulisic above Diego Luna for now. Does the possibility exist where Diego Luna beats out Christian Pulisic, absolutely. And if Pulisic isn't taking notice of it, then he is.
So I guess maybe better question is Diego Luna in a better position at his age than Christian Pulisic was at that age?
Well, at that age, Pulisic was already off to Europe.
Well, he had the academy with Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's like meh.
What do you
But
mean, meh? That's one of the best developing academies in the world.
shut up. No one asked you.
I would rank that right under La Masia.
No, I mean, yeah, that's probably true. But
No,
what I'm getting
no,
at is
I think where Diego's at right now, being 21 years old, being on the senior team for the Gold Cup, I think he's at a just right spot, just at a right spot.
but what about this? To your point, Christian, that Pulisic does play on AC Milan. I mean, historic team.
And
But
he carries that team too.
He does.
but does that say something about that team and that league? I mean,
It does.
I guess here's my point because then maybe people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he's anti-American in Europe." No, I'm not anti-American, but the fact that Pulisic isn't that much of an influential player in the whole worldwide spectrum. He's not. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's normal. He's a good player, but Diego Luna also is a really good player in his spectrum and in his world.
Hmm.
Do we judge players off of where they play, or do we judge them off of the energy and the enthusiasm that they bring to camp? Because if I were to judge it off of the latter, Luna starts over Pulisic every single game.
Yeah, like I'm right there with you. I judge what they bring on the pitch, whereas for other fans, I feel like they judge too much of their location, whether they play for.
It's both.
Yeah,
Realistically, it's both.
it's sad to see that, but we see it so often where no, I'd rather have a player that plays for Real Madrid than Colorado Rapids. But it's so very true.
I can see maybe the argument of difference in age because of experience. That one I will accept because
Facts.
what is Pulisic? 28 right now? 27?
Something like that. Yeah,
And Diego Luna is barely
21.
21.
21. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot of soccer years experience. I mean, that's a lot. So if you're gonna come at me with the argument of the age difference and the experience, I'll take it. But if we were talking about location, about where they're playing and the enthusiasm they bring to the camp, I would take Luna over Pulisic because I believe more in young blood than ones that are used to being at a certain spot and think that they have everything guaranteed.
It's 100% true. 100%.
Yeah. Again, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate for
Sure.
Christian connection there. I mean, AC Milan is a historic, and it's still a good club. It's a very good club, and he did carry that team to a lot of its successes. He had the best production on that team this season with other really good players on that team with him.
Yeah, and I guess the my only
I'm
question
still
is,
I'm still not excusing him saying he's too tired to play for the national team at all. I think that's that's a little silly Billy Goose excuse, but
yeah, and I guess that was gonna be my next point is if you're playing on such a historic team and a team that's so important, you should understand the responsibility it is to not only be a captain of your national team, but actually represent the national team.
But my thing is with Christian Pulisic, yes, he's a great player on some aspects, but he's not going to be remembered as a Landon Donovan, a Clint Dempsey, some of
he
these
could
big,
be.
some of these big players.
That's a hot take, bro.
That is a hot take. I kind of disagree.
I don't know because there are many players that have gone through the U.S. soccer history that if you're a fanatic, you remember him. But if you're just the casual fan that tunes in every 4 years, you probably don't remember him. Like most people, if Berhalter was not a coach, most of them would not have remembered that he participated in the historic 2002 World Cup.
That's true.
No, when I think of U.S. men's national team, when I think of strikers, first thing that comes to my mind is always Donovan, always Donovan.
Dempsey,
So
Bobby Wood,
McBride.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
How could we be an RSL podcast and forget it?
Eddie Pope.
Eddie Pope.
Eddie Pope.
Jason
Price.
Price.
No, Jason Price never played. Did he ever? He never got called up.
He did. He did.
Probably for one game.
When?
Yeah, you're gonna have to look that up because I don't believe it. Jason Christ, even though he was one of the leading, well, he's the first MLS player to reach 100 goals, doesn't mean he got. Jeff Cunningham, I think, got Jeff Cunningham. We're pulling out old names.
You guys are wrong. He played 14 times, 1 goal with the U.S. men's national team.
I didn't. Why'd you say you guys? Alan was the only one that said.
All right, fine. I stand corrected. It's great to be wrong, especially, yeah. Anyways, all right. Enough of the U.S. national team talk. That was great banter, guys. But let's finish this off. How we always actually we're gonna get into it. It's Instagram questions time.
I got you, my friends. Here we go. For the first question of the night, this will be the only question of this that we're going to accept. Do you think Pablo should be sacked?
I'm not answering this. You know what I think. No.
Yeah, I'm like,
even though I just answered it. It's a no.
No,
No.
There's there's another one of those questions. We're not answering another one, so no.
Okay, bring it on next.
If you had a chance to redo the summer window, how would you better the team?
We haven't had the summer window.
I'm gonna assume the redo is not the redo that we actually unless he's talking about last summer window. Last summer window, I would not have gotten rid of Gomez just for this team's sake, not for Gomez's sake.
I would have done it for Gomez's sake. I'm sorry. He's
I don't know. Because look what happened to him.
He's not getting meaningful minutes with Stade Rennais.
He's not getting anything.
Yeah.
So I would have held him, maybe gotten another offer from another team that might have had his best interest in mind. Because I feel bad for Gomez right now.
100%.
Alan,
we're on the same page about it.
Kind
of sounded like we weren't, but we are.
Mine's not summer transfer window, but mine's the off season. I would have done anything in my battle to keep Anderson.
Oh,
with what he's doing for FC Dallas right now, we need that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Done anything you could to bring back, and all right, that's fine. And if we're talking about this summer transfer window, it's a broken record. So I'm not. Yeah.
There we go. Next question. Formation switch. Pablo won't, but maybe a 3-5-2. What could go wrong?
A 3-5-2. I mean, here's the thing.
I've been thinking about this one all day.
3-5-2. We play a false 4-4-2 at times when Catranes pushes up. But
no, it's a false.
It's a false. No,
3-3-3-1.
That's it. That's better. Yeah, it's a false 3-3-3-1. A 3-5-2. If
I don't like
I don't know.
Because the strategy.
Well, the only thing about the 3-5-2, we don't have two strikers. Who are you going to put alongside Willie?
It'd be Gozo. Gozo would be next.
It would be Gozo.
Yeah.
Honestly, here's the thing. This is what I don't like about it. The 3-5-2 can easily become a 3-2-5, and when we park the bus in that 3-2-5, we don't perform as well.
Let's make it into a 3-2-3-2.
3-2-3-2. No, scratch that. Scratch that idea. No.
A 1-9. Just or a 9-1.
That's parking. That's parking the bus.
That's parking the bus.
Or what about 4-5-1?
Now I never liked the 4-5-1.
No,
that's not offensive for me. That is
okay.
That's possession based and very defensive. That's why I'm not gonna lie. Probably because it grew on me, but I really love the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. No, I think a 3-5-2 is 3-5-2 is the last thing I'd want to see with RSL with how shaky our backline is right now.
No. The formation that Pablo has picked for this team right now is the right one.
What about a 4-1-4-1?
Well, we already have too many defensive mids, so I'd rather see two defensive mids.
Whatever. Next one.
This is the last question of the night. Here we go. So,
Oh,
yeah, I know. So here we go. Prediction time.
What? Someone's
Yep.
calling their own prediction time? That's an audible.
Somebody's calling prediction time on us. Here we go. How many goals / assist will Luna have in this window?
When you say
Friendlies included.
oh, okay, so
in this window.
friendlies and gold
So
cup.
that's so just for everyone listening, that's a potential. That's a minimum of 5 games. We've got U.S. versus Turkey, U.S. versus Switzerland, U.S. versus Trinidad and Tobago, U.S. versus Saudi Arabia, and then U.S. versus Haiti.
And then obviously include the knockout stage as well.
Well,
if they make-
that's what I
That's
said.
why I said minimum.
Minimum 5 games.
okay. Oh, flip.
2 goals, 3 assists.
Well, that's very optimistic.
So 5
That's
total.
me. 5 total.
I'll do 1 goal, 3 assists.
Ooh, still optimistic from you.
It is, but
You're
I mean he's more of an assister than a goal scorer on the national
And he's
team,
a
I think.
he's a great assister.
I'm gonna go 2-2.
Okay. Well, 4 from us, 5 from you. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
a lot of goal. That's actually a lot of goal contributions for someone who we don't even know is gonna start. We think
Well,
is gonna start, but
you see who he's paired up with. Like he has the likes of Brian White and many others. So I can see it happen.
watch
See it
out.
happening.
I've heard the arguments where Brian White is actually just a phantom. Like he's not gonna do anything.
I don't know.
I mean, he was a phantom during that CONCACAF Champions League final.
He was not a phantom here.
I mean, but it was against us. We're not Cruz Azul.
But also, I would argue that he didn't have a good game either against us. The goal was a error on our point in coverage during a
set piece.
and the other one was a penalty. Had we not had that error and had that penalty not been called, he wouldn't have scored against us.
Had we been 3,000 feet above sea level higher, we would have won. I'm telling you guys.
Could have, should have, would have all these nights.
But didn't.
Here's my suggestion: we rebuild America First Field on top of Mount Timpanogos.
Oh, now we're talking.
But if you want to keep it in the vicinity of Sandy Draper, you might want to do it on top of Twin Peaks.
There we go.
I think fans will definitely be driving up to that stadium.
Or let's just put it in the House of Zeus, Mount Olympus.
Or we could go the opposite way. Let's drop it in the middle of Kennecott and make it underground.
I was actually
thinking a stadium on top of the Great Salt Lake.
I was gonna say Antelope Island is great.
No, on top of the Great Salt Lake, like literally, it's floating.
Yeah,
it's on pylons.
Because literally, it's only like 10 feet deep, so it's not gonna be that hard. Oh my guys! All right, that is a wrap.
Obviously, no RSL game this weekend, unfortunately, guys. But Luna and the U.S. men's national team play this Saturday, 1:30 against Turkey for a friendly. So stay tuned, watch that. It's gonna be a fun match.
And don't forget, there's also Gozo playing with the U20s. Dom is playing with the U21 Polish team.
Correct.
And actually, if you want to catch the U20s for Beaver as well, Gavin Beavers is set. I think he's going to be starting. By the way,
yeah.
So
he's got a lot of potential.
We like that guy.
He's the next one in line. We know. All right. Well, that's it. That's a wrap. How do you guys feel?
I've got merch ideas.
Oh, that's true.
T-shirts.
You did have a lot of one-liners, so I congratulate you for all those one-liners. In fact, I already forgot one of them, but I really liked it. I'll listen. I will listen to our episode just like all of you will. You guys already have. If
you guys are not already subscribed, what are you guys doing? Head over to YouTube and subscribe right now. Tell your friends. Head over to X. Head over to Instagram. Follow us at the RSL Bros and listen to us on Spotify and Apple.
Give us your thoughts. Give us your comments.
We would love to hear them. See you guys next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.